I tore my ACL, and this is what it has taught me. All right. So if you don't know, I've been on this channel for about 3 years now, and I've played basketball for all 4 years of high school. I'm currently a freshman in college. So yeah, I want to go through how I tore my ACL and what I've learned from it in this video. So for those who don't know, I tore my ACL in March, uh, no, February actually. February, and I got my surgery, my reconstruction done in March, and we're about five months in with PT, and we're recovering. Tearing your ACL is going to be the hardest thing you've ever dealt with in your life. I know it has been for me. I haven't witnessed any deaths or you know a significant event in my life more than tearing my ACL. It was my first surgery. Um, I honestly, when I first tore my ACL, I was extremely sad, honestly. And I'm still recovering from that feeling, but I was extremely sad because I tore it on the last regular season game of the basketball season. And we were a playoff team, so that means I wouldn't be able to complete my high school career on a good note. And that feels so bad. You don't understand how bad it feels to just have your something that you've always been working for and working towards just gone just like that, right? That's something that everyone in life will go through at one point, and I've just so happened to experience it young, young, right? 18 years old, and I've experienced a significant injury in my life already, which is sad. So that's the first part. I was sad because I wouldn't be able to finish something that was so important to me, and it sucked. But I learned that things in life happen for a reason, right? You're not gonna you're not gonna go through life perfect. Not every dama's gonna fall in place where you need it to fall. When I tore my ACL, I was just thinking like, God, why did you do this to me? Why did this happen to me? But when I took a step back, I realized, you know, well, now I realize that, tearing my ACL has made me slow down and think a little bit harder for my decisions and, things I've done. So, for example, I tore my ACL, which has helped me, one, get an internship, and I'll expand on that. Two, focus more on content. Three, start a podcast with my best friends, right? Those are the three big things that I've seen like has popped out to me and has been put into my life after I tore my ACL that I really appreciate. All right. Number one, tearing my ACL. After I got my surgery in March, I couldn't put weight on it for 6 weeks, right? You can't walk for 6 weeks because I got my meniscus. Some of it had to be taken out and I had to get my ACL reconstructed. Um, so that means the summer of going into college, I was thinking about working at Audubell where you're on your feet a lot. Nope, that's gone. So that forced me to find something like an office job to try to get some money before going to college because you can't go into college being a broke person. You just can't. So that led me to actually talking to someone in my school, and they connected me to finance somebody in the finance field, and now I interned there. And in in I don't know, retrospect or hindsight, I don't know the difference, but in hindsight, if I tore my ACL, I would be working at Audubell, right? Making 725 plus tips. Now that's good money, but not the type of money I was getting, paid at the internship. And that money that I worked for at the internship, it helped pay for some like tuition here at college. So I found that if I didn't tear my ACL, that wouldn't have happened. And having that internship is actually very useful in terms of just career related stuff. Like the how it looks on your resume, things of that nature. I'm gonna knock on wood. I'm not even admitted to the business school here where I'm at, but it's just something that will help me down the line, and I'm really appreciative of that. Um, Number two, content. Once you've torn your ACL and you're in the recovery process, and you've been playing sports, just think about it like you're in my shoes. You've been playing sports your whole life, every day. To be honest, every day you were playing your sport, but you tore your ACL. Now you be out 9 months to a year. You're out for. You have so much time in your hands. If you don't do anything with that time, tearing your ACL is not going to be the only thing that you have lost. Okay, especially if you're young like me, this is the time for you to grow the most. So I decided to, hop back on my YouTube channel where I have 400 subscribers. This this channel actually, this channel has been dead for the past 2 weeks. I don't know why, but I decided to hop back on this channel and was doing well. It was doing very very well, and yeah, now we're here. But I've always really been passionate about content creation, and that can come in different forms for me. That was the reactions back in the day. Those were the vlogs, the short form reactions. Now, currently, it can come in different ways. It can come in like a video like this where I just talk on the cam. But the main point is I stopped creating videos because number one, I didn't have the time during the basketball season. Number two, I didn't want not saying my content that I was creating was bad, but if they somehow just looked up my channel on my college application and they just look up my name, they find me and they see something that they don't like, then I'm cooked. They're not gonna let me into their college, right? So that's another reason why I stopped creating content. But the last one is just I was being a pussy, right? Because before that, some of my people on my basketball team found my TikTok, and I didn't think that was an embarrassing thing, but I did feel kind of an embarrassment because how I acted on the TikTok was not how I acted in real life. And the reason I didn't act like that in real life is because, I was a clip farmer literally on TikTok. I was literally trying to clip farm, trying to go viral, but that's just not the way to go. So I'm trying to make pure good content now, because even if I do go viral with these um short form content, even if I do go viral and I, somehow get millions and millions of views, that's something that I'm not going to be proud of in the long run, because they're fake. They're not fake, but like they're also not who I want to be and who I want to portray myself as. So focusing on the content itself, the process of it, is something that I need to get back to. And even if I do the reactions now, it's not going to be like clip farming type reactions. It's gonna be actual, like, break it down, talk about it a little bit, and then move on with my life. But the days of where just like blurbing out BS and talking trash and stuff like that, I'm gonna leave that to Flight Reacts and Cash Nasty. I'm gonna leave it up to them. But right now, I'm gonna be focused on just providing good content, and that's gonna fulfill me, and that's gonna how I'm gonna run things. And that's something the ACL taught me, is because I think I needed to slow down when the ACL, like the ACL tear, slowed my life down significantly. It gave me so much time to think in general, that I was like, yeah, I should pick up this content thing again. At first, when I picked it up again, I said, I was trying to go viral, and that's the whole point of being on the social media game. But you want to go viral for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. Okay. And the content that I produce now, it's not going to be edited chop 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 chop. I'm posting this in the rawest forms. Okay, no cuts, no nothing, straight up just me yapping it up. And if you're bored, click off. Nobody's telling you to listen. 3, the podcast that I have with my best friends. Now, I've never before. If you told me 6 months ago that I would be starting a podcast with them, I'd be like, "You're out of your damn mind." Okay, because before that, I was not even like, we were best friends, but we weren't really like hanging out. Like I've never really hung out with my friends because I was more like a person in my room and like to do my own thing. I never really game like that. So when I tore my ACL, I started gaming, right? And then when I started gaming, we talked about starting a podcast, right? And then when we started making the podcast, we did it online, right? And we were just having fun with it. And then we made a 1v1 video, which is doing really, really, really good right now for the amount of people that we have subscribed. And then we made an in person podcast, just leveling up and trying to build out that podcast. We're trying to bring it here to Chapel Hill, do it here. But I don't think I would have started the podcast if I didn't tear my ACL, because the ideas that were the idea of having the podcast came when after I tore my ACL or sometime around there, but it came from the gaming. It came from the late night talks with the boys. Hey, yo, we should start a podcast. Call it Chicken and Rice. Two black guys, one Asian guy. That's fire. Hopefully that podcast can, thrive one day. I will always say it's thriving. It's just, we want to reach a broader audience. We want to go mainstream with this type of thing, and you know, we gotta work a lot harder for that to happen. But for now, I like where it is, and it's very small. If you want to subscribe to it, go down there in the description, and you can find it there, and you can subscribe. Talk about sports, talk about everything. Give me a moment so I can gather my thoughts. 2 seconds. I think one underrated thing that I learned after tearing my ACL is just how to communicate effectively. And I think where this came from was from me actually slowing down. See, when I was playing sports, I feel like your life is so busy that you don't have time to just sit and think sometimes. Everything is go, go, go. You have a schedule. You need to do this. You need to do your homework. You need to go to sleep. You need to get 8 hours. You need to wake up. You need to go to school. Stuff like that. So you don't actually have free time to think. So when I tore my ACL, I had so much free time, and I was able to think very hard about myself and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with my life. And one thing I wanted to improve was my speaking abilities. Okay. If you look back on the reaction videos that I made, like on this channel, you'll see my English is terrible. Terrible. My tonality was terrible. I had one tone. You can't express yourself with one tone. You can't be talking like this every time you talk and then never, if I'm happy, I'm going to say I'm happy. You can't talk like that. Okay? You can't communicate effectively like that. And I realized that I was basically an NPC back then. Okay? I didn't have any emotions. I couldn't express how I felt. If I expressed how I felt, it came off as disingenuous. So that's something I try to improve, and I thought about when I tore my ACL. So what has helped me with that was making more content, having the podcast, you know, practicing my conversational skills, and none of that would have happened without tearing my ACL. Tearing my ACL was a blessing in disguise. And I know that sounds so cliche, and I'm cringing right now actually saying that. But, and what I'm about to say is going to be cliche, but if you know me personally, you'll understand that when I say something, I will actually mean it. Okay? Sometimes you have to just change your perspective. Okay? I tore my ACL. Whole part of my identity out the window. What I need to do, I need to build myself up and refill what I've, lost. And I know that one day I will be back on the basketball court, and I will, recover where I can, play normally, not on a high level, but, you know, just playing pickup basketball. That's something I want to get back to. And I know I'm going to get there one day, but for now, there's other stuff that I can be working on. All right. Just improving every day. For example, I can't play basketball for another 3 months, and I couldn't have for 6 months. But that forced me to go to the gym, something that I've not hit. I've seen improvement in my body, how I look, just in general. I was a skinny twig back then. I thought it was strong. Ooh, I thought I was strong for a basketball player. You could see some muscle. Hell no. Hell no. You were weak back then. Now I got some muscle, some meat on me, and I can I can I can say that was the gym, you know? You can I was even at the base, at the core of it, right? I'm not gonna be a basketball player, a D1 basketball player. I'm not gonna be a pro level basketball player. My field is gonna be talking about basketball, talking about life, speaking on it, but it's not gonna be basketball. So I knew that, even though I'm not gonna play basketball, which is the main source of my exercise at the time, I still need to be active. I still need to be able to stay fit. But since you can't play basketball anymore, there are other ways that I needed to stay fit. I could go on a walk. I can go on the bike. I can lift. Just doing that was so extremely helpful for me because exercising made me, release stress, let the chemicals in your brain, you feel you feel happier after your workout. So, you know, it opened up a different avenue of being active for me, and yeah, I really like that. And you know once I do recover, because basketball is going to always be a part of my life, but since this injury has happened, I'm going to have to take it easy for quite a while. So it has built better habits in terms of, lifting, having a schedule. When I got here, the first thing I wanted to do was go to the weight room because I knew that going to the weight room was going to make me feel better. You know, tearing the ACL established a whole new set of routine and discipline that I had to create. Because even though that I was lifting, physical therapy is still part of the journey. You have to do your physical therapy so that your leg can be where it needs to be. So just being disciplined and learning about more about being disciplined helped me so much, and I've applied that in so many areas of my life. And I really think that tearing my ACL has, in a good way, affected my life. But I lost the last part of one of the most important parts of my life, my basketball career, to an ACL tear. I'm gonna be one of those uncles who are like, "Yo, I could have been in the league if I didn't tear my ACL," type of thing. But if I could go back in time, I would not change it because things in life happen for a reason. Things you can't change the past. You can only change the future. So if something bad happens to you, you need to take what you learn from it and apply it to the future. There's no way you can't do that, right? Everything happens for a reason, and don't be sad and don't be sulking that, it happened. Just accept that it happened and move on, because that's the only thing you're going to be able to do in life. Move on. Time doesn't go back, time only goes forward. So, yeah. That's all I have for you guys today. That's what I've learned from tearing my ACL, the life lessons, the discipline, the habits, what I learned about myself. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is a new type of content. I know I made the basketball topics last week. We're going to switch. We're going to do everything on this channel. So stay tuned for more content like this. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.